Hi, this is PD at BurgZerg Arcade at BurgZergArcade.com, and this is tutorial 208, I believe. Now, we left off in the last tutorial. We had just finished implementing or switching over to using our Singleton, and we had some errors. So let's go through in this one and get all these errors fixed up. So I'm going to see the first one here. It's saying it can't find the namespace, the type or namespace of player character, and that's because we removed that script from our project. So let's just go ahead and open this up. It appears that this one shows up in our changing room. Now, I haven't actually touched this scene in quite a while, so I'm going to leave this error to the last. It's a scene I used a lot when I first created it, and when I did first create it, I didn't intend to create the the ability to character customize. Since I have actually gone ahead and added character customization, because a lot of people were having trouble taking what we learned in this scene and creating the character customization scene. Like I said, I haven't really used a whole lot since then. But I will come back and fix this. But first, let's go ahead and move on to the other errors, because those are probably in scenes I actually use. So this one's in our character generator. And it's the same error. It's basically just looking for the player character class, and it cannot find it. So let's open that up. And here we are. So we're getting a static a reference to our player. Well, we're creating a variable player or tune of player character type. I'm actually going to comment that out, and I'm just going to look for tune. So the next part is down in the start function. This is where we're actually getting the component of PC. Let me see where we actually look for PC as well. So right here is where we're creating PC. So we're creating a player prefab, which we're not going to really need to do anymore. Since it's a static instance now, we can just reference that static instance. So I'm going to comment this line out. We won't really need this line anymore, or this. Now we will want to come back and put some debug log warnings in to make sure our static instance is available to us, but for now let's just get everything working right. So I've got rid of all the tune stuff. So right here, let me see, I'm going to come up here. An easy way to do it is just to make tune point to our static reference. That would be the fastest way to do it. So every time it's referencing tune, it'd be referencing our static reference, but we might as well just do it right and make it point to our static reference. So I do not have an awake function. I am going to create one. And the reason why I'm creating this is because that's where I want to make sure that I have an instance of our character already made. So we're going to say pc.instance.awake. And that's the only line we have to put in here for that. So we're going to come down here, and I've got all this commented out. I'm just going to shrink it up a bit. And as I go through here, let me see, I can go through this line here where we're getting the primary attribute. We're referencing tune. We don't need to anymore. Now we can just say pc.instance.get primary attribute. So basically we can go through now and replace tune with this. And to be honest, I'm just going to go like this. And that should work. Now I could just do a global search and replace them all, but that's going to replace a lot of this stuff I have up here. Instances of tune, and I don't quite want to do that just because of the people who bought the scripts. But if you are following along at home, you can just do a global search and replace. There's 23 matches, so I'm just going to quickly go through and just cut and paste. And the easiest way is probably just to let them pop up here. This is in game settings, not what I wanted. It's not actually showing up now. I know I'm going to have other ones in here. Character generator, I didn't save it apparently. There's one right there we're going to have to call. No new ones popping up, but I know there's others here. So I'm just going to quickly go through and just read each line. And I may miss one because I'm just quickly reading through. And since I have tune typed up here, you'll notice that it's a different color down here. It has that kind of peach background to it. So that's actually what I'm scanning for. As you see right here. And like I said, the benefit of doing it this way is we don't have to keep getting references to everything, and it should cut down a lot on people having the null reference error. We got one here. We're almost done this script. I forgot to turn my email off again. All right, that should be all of them in here. I'm just going to save that off, and I'm going to move on to the next one, which is in game settings 2. And we're creating a public static player character PC. And I believe we were doing that because we needed a reference to some of the things in player character. So let me just go ahead and find PC. Just get this to a size I can read. All right, so yeah, it's right here in the load vitals. So we have 6 instances of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the one at the top would be 6. So this seems to be the only function we used it in. And again, I'm just going to replace with PC instance. And I'm going to want to add the same line to the awake function. So actually, instead of the awake function, we're going to be adding that to the constructor up here, because this is not a mono behavior. So we're just going to say PC dot instance, if I can spell it, dot awake. And that just makes sure it's set up for us. All right, I'm going to save that off, and we'll go back in, see what else pops up. So we still have this one here in the changing room. So let's go ahead and just comment this out. I've turned the gain down a little bit on my mic as it seemed to be maxing out quite a bit. And let's just go ahead and find the rest of these instances or references of the variable. There appears to be 18 total, so there's 17 more. And I just want to come down and make sure that we have everything that is needed. So we should just actually be able to go in and change PC to PC.instance. And that's what I'm going to do for now, because it should be able to access the hair mount. Just to make sure, I'm just going to type it up here. Yes, so we do have access to the hair mount. I wasn't sure if I had added that yet or not. Okay, so we got that, and there should be more. I'm not seeing, oh, there we go. I'm not sure why I have so much room here, but I'm going to get rid of some of it. All right, so we'll keep going through. Here's another one. Here's another one. There we go. All right, so it looks like I've got them all now. So I'm just going to go back into Unity. We'll see if all the errors go away. Of course not. More just pop up. So I missed one here. This was in the changing room. And I'll come back and hit this one here. Boom, boom, boom. So initially this used to say PC because that's what I changed. I stopped reading actually what the commands were. So initially this said PC equals okay. So I am going to have to change this because I want to get a reference to the character mesh that it's attached to. Actually, no, sorry. I'm just getting the script it's attached to. We don't need that line anymore. So I'm just going to get rid of that. We'll come back in. We still have one more in game settings too. And this was in the GUI. And here we're assigning the PC value in game settings 2 to what we used to have as being the instance of our PC in here. We shouldn't actually need that line anymore. And I'm actually going to change this back to what it used to be. And in this script, character generator, I believe it used to be called tune. Just let me scroll up to the top here and take a look. Yes. So I'm going to save that. Whoops, I held control down while scrolling. I am getting a new mouse. I actually like this mouse, just for a quick update. But what I don't like about it is that it goes through battery so damn fast. But anyway, if you want to hear more about that, you can jump onto the live feed and hear me gripe about it. But let's go back into Unity, see what other errors we get. We'll just keep going through them. So this one's in my GUI. Now here we were accessing the inventory of our character, player character class. I'm not sure if I've actually added that to PC yet. So let me just go ahead and take a look. Yes, I have. So I'm going to go ahead and just switch that over. And I did actually change the way the inventory worked a little bit. I made it a public list. And I'm still of the mind where all your variables should be private. For now, I'm just going to leave it public though. Worst case scenario, we just make an accessor for it. But let's just leave it like that for now, just to get this up and running quickly. Let me see. We got that done. I'm just going to go look for the next reference. The type PC does not contain a definition for inventory. And that's because I'm using a small I. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I've had my coffee this morning and it's already bugging me that this is public. And I'm going to make some public accessors for it. And it's going to return a list of item. And I get a lot of questions sometimes when I am making my get and set methods. A lot of times I'm just using the default ones. And people will ask me why I don't just, instead of actually going through and doing something like, get return inventory. And then sometimes I won't even have a set method. Let me just fix that space. So I'm actually not doing any sort of debugging or sanity checking to make sure that what I'm being passed in is valid. And it's because later on I can always come back and add that functionality to it. You got to keep in mind that right now I'm just quickly trying to prototype stuff out just to get it up and running quickly. I can always come back later and tighten up my code and refactor stuff to be more efficient. The aim right now is just to get it done quick. And another comment I get a lot is, since I'm just doing it like this here, with just a basic get and set, why not, let's get rid of both of these. Why not just go ahead and do something like We could have just did var and call it inventory. Just keep the name same. Is equal to list item with the capital. And I forgot the new keyword in there. You know, why don't I use the var keyword? And you can if you want. Like, I personally don't believe that it's bad. The benefit of it is that it automatically typecasts this for you, so it knows that, you know, it's going to be a list of items. Honestly, I'm just kind of the old school where I'm just used to typing out the type in front of it. So doing it this way here can save you a few extra keystrokes. For me, I'm probably always going to do it this way. And of course, there's also the question about why don't I just use something, you know, like some of my Boolean values, for instance. So I'll have, let's say, public bool, some bool, and I'm just checking to see if something's turned on or off. And we can do get set. And instead of typing all this, instead of typing all of this stuff out here, this is another way you can do it. Usually you want this as a capital. And we could have done the exact same thing here for inventory instead of typing this out, because we're just using the default get and set for it. I forgot my semicolon here. I just do it this way here because I know later on I'm probably going to want to come back and add a little bit of sanity checking here. And I'm just leaving myself that room. But that's enough of a tangent. We'll just get rid of this. I'm going to save that. Let me see. We were looking at something to do about the inventory. It was right here. So now we're going to use PC.instance. And I'm going to cut and paste that again. It just saves me going through and making this a small I by doing it this way as well. So we'll save that off. Next one, right here, and right here, and there's probably one or two more in here. I may have to actually see, do I have equipped weapon? List item, equipped weapon, equipped weapon. Okay, I do have one there. I'm not seeing it off the top of my head, so let's just go find the next one. And we'll change those. There's one down here. So 9 more errors. So this is in the same script. Of course, since I'm going through so quickly and not reading, this could lead to even more errors. But we'll test it out to make sure everything's working. And if it does, then we should be fine. If not, I'll have to come back and take a look. So here's where we're actually setting the mount point, and it's going to be equal to the player model customization.character mesh get component, and we're grabbing the hair mount player model cut. So what script is in? This is in our hair script. So instead of actually making this mount point now, since we actually have a static reference to it, let me see, this is grabbing the hair mount. So of course the quick and dirty way would be to make this point to our player character, or PC.instance.hair mount. But I'm actually just going to get rid of the whole variable. And I'm going to replace that variable, mount variable, with PC.instance.hair mount. And I've typed up there just to make sure I get the exact spelling of it. And I'm just going to make sure, yep, we're just grabbing the hair mount. So I should just be able to paste this in here. Anywhere I see mount. And I believe that will probably be the only spot I see. Right here. Since the local variable, you only have to check in this function. And we do have one here. And another one here. I'm going to save that off. And we'll just take a look. We'll move on to the next one, which is in-game settings. Now this is the original game settings. I'm not actually going to touch this one. Are they both in-game settings? Yes. Since I have actually gone ahead and stopped using this script, I don't want to actually come ahead or go ahead and start playing around with the code in it. Since it's in the obsolete folder, this is kind of like, like the final build of this particular script. What I'm going to do is just drag it out of my project. So I'll shrink this down. I'm actually going to take the whole obsolete folder, and I'm just actually going to drag the whole thing out. And I'll just drag that script into there. I'm only keeping that for the people that have purchased the scripts so that they still have access to some of the scripts that we have changed. And you might be keeping them at home as well, just to follow, so you can go back and look at the code. But let's go ahead and do a rebuild. I'm still getting errors here. Let me just close this. And we'll just head back into Unity. And it's, I've gone ahead and moved it outside of my project. But I haven't actually gotten rid of it out of my project. So I'll just go ahead and delete that folder now. And here we go. Here's the next one. So this is in changing room. It's looking for character assets. Okay, that was one in the obsolete folder. Well, I'm just going to drag that script back in for now. I will make the folder obsolete. Well, that's just going to be confusing if I have two obsolete folders. For now, I'm just going to drag that back in. So I was looking for a character asset. This was another way I was doing something earlier that I've learned that I just don't like doing it that way. So it's another one of those scripts I just don't use anymore. Okay, let's look for game settings. This is in character generator. I thought I'd actually changed this already. But that's fine. It's supposed to be game settings too. If you're naming your classes the same as me. Actually, I think it's game setting too. And this is a game master. Okay, I guess these errors didn't pop up before because I hadn't taken it out before. Okay, so let me see. We're creating a game object called Geo, and we're looking for the player spawn point. And let me see here. I'm not using it in the game settings 2 script anymore, the player spawn point. I'm actually going to be loading and saving that from our player prefs. Now this is how we're positioning our character currently. Well, if we're doing it by script, I'm personally just dragging and dropping it, putting it in the scene. So I can build tons of small little scenes within one big scene to test stuff out with. For instance, I have one area in my scene where there's mobs where I can go test the combat with them. I have another area in my scene where there's chests, and I can test the interacting with that. Then, of course, you know, you got your town scene, but let me just see here. We can get rid of a lot of this. I'm just going to go ahead and comment all of this out because while we are going to have the Game Master positioning us to the right spot, and it's going to be the same way basically while we're going through here, it's not going to be stored in our game settings anymore, which I'm not sure if we have open. I could probably close some of these down. We'll close those down. I'm not sure why item generator is open. Yeah, I don't have... Oh, game settings too. Finally found it. Yeah, I don't have it here. Okay. But yeah, what we're going to be doing is grabbing the saved variable from our player's prefs upon loading our character and spawn them in that way. So for now, until we actually get there, let's just comment this old code out. Make sure you get all of it. That pretty much gets rid of all of our start method. All we're doing is calling load character. And we'll probably have to... Yeah, see, load character is actually looking for our game settings, which we're not going to have anymore. So I'll just save that off. We'll come back in. And to be honest, is that all we have here? Yeah. I'm just going to comment the whole thing out for now. And we'll rebuild all this a little bit later on. It's going to be much easier with the new way we're doing it. So if we comment all that out, to be honest, we don't even need these anymore. I'll come back in. We'll see what error is next. We have a player character one. This is in our player model customization. So we're saying head material is equal to the character mesh, which is assigned in this script, get component player character. Character material mesh render material 4. So we can replace that with PC.instance dot character material mesh dot renderer. I just want to make sure this whole path is available to me. Dot material and 4. Yep, so I can just go ahead and take let's see, we want to replace up to here. So character mesh material. So just like before, we're just replacing PC instance with this here. Make sure there's only one period in there. We'll get rid of the path up there. And I'll just take a quick look there. Nothing on the next line. So we'll save that off, head back in. Now this is going to be a bit of a long video, but I kind of want to get it all in one video so we don't have multiple videos. I guess if I would have had more time, I could have sat down and went through each script individually and fixed all the references in it, but we'll just do it this way here. Just hurry up and get them all done. The type or namespace player attack. Oh, this is in the scripts targeting. So we're referencing the player attack script. Now this is our old targeting script, I thought. This is written October 20th. I believe we made a new one. Let me just go check the obsolete folder. Do we have a targeting script in here? Target mob. Okay, well, we are going to be changing that anyway. We're not going to be making a player attack script. So let me just bring Unity back up, just so I can find the exact line again. And I'm just actually going to comment some of this out. Yeah, I'm just going to comment this part here out because we're going to be handling targeting differently. Like I said, we're not going to be creating a player attack script. We'll get something a little bit more advanced than that. And while I'm here, this is kind of annoying me. So we'll save that off. And finally, we got rid of all of our errors. Let's start it up. So this is working. Let's see if the looting's working. So we got our items. I'll open up my character panel, my inventory panel. Let's grab all our items. They're showing up there. Now I eventually want to take our tooltip and make it its own class so that it's a little more robust than what we have now. But we can do that a little bit later on. For now, it's great for showing information that we want up on the screen. Just move to darker areas so I can see the values. So let's equip a sword. Let's take a look. All right, we'll do the axe. So that apparently seems to be working. Let's go try a different scene just to make sure everything's working fine. And I did add the player assets or something like that here. I'll have to take a look because it is in my obsolete folder. But let's go to the other scenes. I'm just going to start off with main menu. We have some errors here. I'm just going to hit clear. Switch scenes again, see what those errors are. I'm getting an error with our PC class. Instance equals null. Now there's some code I want to add in here a little bit later on. Oh, let's just go ahead and add it now. I was actually going to wait till the next video, but let's just go ahead and add it now. So I'm going to add it in right after we create our game object. And what I want to do is check to see if PC, well, I'm going to create a temporary variable of type PC. And we're going to take that game object we're creating up top, and we're going to check to see if it has the component PC attached to it. And then we're just going to check right here. And if it doesn't, I just want to debug.log error. And I'm just going to say player prefab does not contain a PC script. Please add and configure. And then underneath, I'm also going to say that instance is equal to go get component PC. Now you might be thinking, hey, well, why don't we just use temp since that's what temp is equal to. Later on, I do want to figure out some code that's fairly flexible that everyone can use to tell it to configure this script, because all of us are going to have mount points in different spots. But for now, we'll just leave it like this. And actually, since I'm here as well, I also want to set the tag. We want our player character to always have the tag player. Now this is actually probably something that's good to put into our game settings. But we'll leave it there for now. And speaking of game settings, I do want to open that up. Game settings 2. I do have an error here. What was this? Okay. This error that we keep getting is the one I want to actually address. I'm going to come up to our game settings 2. And in our constructor, I'm going to get rid of the call to the awake function. That's what's causing that error. We could add it somewhere else. Since we're only doing it down, I forget where. I think it was in one of the load vitals, I believe it was. Yeah, down here. We could actually add it down here to make sure that it exists before we try loading stuff into it. But let's just see how it's working right now. So I'll let it recompile, hit clear. Let's start it up. And here we go. Let's try loading the character. So it loads in the game fine. Everything's good there. And we open up a chest, and of course we're still getting items. None of this should have changed. But I am going to equip the Sliffy. Okay, we got our Sliffy. Switch to the sword, switch to the Morning Star. Everything's good. And let's actually take one more look at where we're deleting the character. And here we are again. So enter a name, make him really healthy. And it should bring us to the character customization scene next. Here we go. The only thing I have actually on mine is hair, and I don't even have it attached yet. I will go through and take a look at that a little bit later on. But right now I just want to get what we've worked on so far working. So let's go ahead, hit next, and there we go. So this video is actually quite long. We're already over 35 minutes, so I'm going to call this one done. I'll start editing it and hopefully get it uploaded today. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if you actually find these videos helpful and you enjoy them, don't forget to hit the favorite button and thumbs up. It helps me out a lot with visibility. It helps when people are searching YouTube for Unity tutorials, they'll see mine. But anyway, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.